if you are an employer in Pennsylvania, there are certain requirements that you must meet with regard to treatment of certain classes of employees in the state of Pennsylvania. And these are not only in the state of Pennsylvania, but also under the federal government, because a lot of these employment cases, if there's a discrimination, they will end up in the federal court as opposed to the state court, because there are certain federal laws that have been established with regard to anti-discrimination. And the basics that are set forth in this, in the principles, are that you cannot discriminate based on race, you cannot discriminate based on age, you cannot discriminate based on gender. These statutes have been established, and they have certain remedies that are set forth there. If it's determined, and there's complicated ways in which those elements can be proven, you can have a discrimination in the way in which you decide your employee practices. My interview process it's biased towards a certain race or against a certain race, or it can be in the manner in which you implement that particular policy, and that is, I have decided that subconsciously I am not going to hire any Mexican Americans or Spanish Americans or African Americans. And then you implemented that policy, and then you can be held responsible if someone applies, or if you don't have enough individuals of a certain gender and they contend that your policy is discriminatory. With regard to age and gender, it's the same way. There are statutes with regard to the age discrimination, which is at age 40 and above. If you, either the way in which you implement those policies and or the way you apply the policies, they can be held to be discriminatory, then you can be held responsible. The manner in which the same thing is true with regard to gender. If, however, you violate the policy, the provision in the law allows that individual to bring a claim against you, and that can be determined by compensation, lost wages, the loss of an opportunity, the termination, if you decide to terminate somebody because of age discrimination or gender, then you are potentially liable for compensation of their lost wages, potentially maybe some pain and suffering, although that is on a limited basis. And generally, you also are responsible for their counsel fees in pursuing the claim.